everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the First and Last Podcast. My name is Josh, and with me this week, we've got Joe.
Hey, man.
Newly discovered lover of blueberry hard cider.
Who knew?
We know now. Now the world knows. And we got a Jimmy back from whaling.
God. Pineapple pizza. Right?
Just hitting all the buzzwords.
Give me the points.
Not right.
Okay, I actually did listen to the episode. You guys are bastards. You guys are bad men.
What did we do?
You're so mean.
You were never going to pick the king of queens.
Yeah, don't hate whales. You spent a good long... you just have so many shower takes. Like, who knew? Literally hot shower takes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hot takes and hot showers.
Do you got any takes on that?
I guess I do have one. There's a shower in our basement. Like there's like a finished bathroom, but something was not done right. Like it doesn't seem to be hooked up to cold water.
Oh, it's just hot.
So like you best be taking that shower in 30 seconds because the second that you can't, there's no turning it down. So I haven't we just bought our house a year ago, so I haven't dove into what the hell that's all about, but I'm not excited about it.
As in, like, the temperature goes up, so you got 30 seconds until it's too hot.
It goes up, right. And then there's no adjusting it. It's either off or it's scalding you like it's some sort of horror movie.
Dear Lord.
It's insane.
Well,
that's my hot shower take.
Well, I'm glad you have another shower, because that sounds terrible.
Yeah, me too.
You just are going to take a shower in the basement, and you have to bring a bucket of cold water, kind of pour it on you as the water is also hitting you.
I was thinking you would pre-cool yourself down so you got a higher runway for hotness.
Does that work?
Apparently there's a lot of ways to do it. Huh. Jimmy would take a cold shower upstairs and then run naked through his house and wet and cold all the way downstairs just to take a hot shower.
Oh God. It would be one thing if it were just a hot shower. I enjoy probably a hotter shower than most. I like to just come out of it just red. But this is too much. It's you're going to go to the hospital.
I mean, just keep taking showers in it, and one day you'll develop some sort of heat resistant superpower,
just some
right?
sort of callus. Yeah.
Just callus all over your body.
Just
right.
One big water resistant callus.
Good God. Just a monster.
We believe. Well, this podcast isn't about how Jimmy takes showers. Joe,
or how I love whales.
We know how
big whale fan.
We know you. We know you're a whale fan. Watching them, killing them.
We tried to see some whales. Went to the West Coast a few weeks ago. It's not the time. Now apparently is not the time.
Wrong time for whales.
They just hide out.
Yeah, I mean they're just not on the Pacific Northwest. They're probably more north. I don't know. Maybe they're more south. They're somewhere else. It's not the time. Anyway,
who knows?
But I like whales, you bastards.
Big Free Willy fan, and Free Willy 2 even.
Big MJ. What's the song in that?
Something about the River Jordan or something.
Was that song?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I'm into that one.
I think he tried to buy. I think it was Keiko. Was that the name of the whale from Free Willy? He tried to buy that whale.
Yeah, didn't it die in captivity?
I mean, probably. Isn't that what happens to all killer whales? You would know.
God damn it. What's the show about, Joe?
We take a TV show and watch the first and last episode. Nothing in between. Just like it sounds. Stop asking.
205 episodes. Joe's sick of it.
Brutal.
Dear God, every time you don't know what it's about yet.
Yeah. I'm talking to you, Josh. Stop asking me.
Well, Jimmy, I guess you have to start asking.
I have no idea what we're doing.
Well, this week, Joe, it is your show pick.
Yeah.
What did you pick?
Okay, guys.
Is it King of Queens?
I rolled in late. Cards on the table because before I left, I was like, oh, I'm supposed to pick the show tonight. So maybe this will be a bad episode, or maybe it'll be the greatest episode because it ended with me just picking a show I know next to nothing about. But it was just hey,
nice.
This show's on Netflix. It's over. Great, we're doing it.
Awesome.
My one only connection with this show is that someone, probably in 2016 when this first aired was like, "Hey, are you watching this show Bloodline?" And I'm like, "No." And they're like, "You should watch it. You'd like it."
Okay. It sounds like a procedural. Is it a procedural?
I don't think so.
To me, it sounds like a vampire show.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's called Bloodline. Let me see if I could pull up the short description on Netflix because that's the only thing I've read about it. It's something about families, maybe vampires.
Someone's quick little thing on IMDb says a family finds themselves forced to face their past secrets and scars when the black sheep returns home.
Yeah, that's the same thing that's on Netflix.
And there's a trailer that looks like
Chris
a
Farley
deranged.
returns home.
Yeah,
Nice. I see what you did there.
it's the Black Sheep extended universe. Yeah.
Black sheep. Oh, is that Yeah, Kyle Chandler
Yeah, from Friday Night Lights.
from Friday
The
Night
coach.
Lights. An
Linda
early
Cardellini.
edition.
An early edition. Linda Cardellini.
That's the name I see on this.
Who dat?
Oh,
I like Linda Cardellini.
Oh yeah.
Freaks and Geeks.
Yep.
Velma.
Sissy Spacek.
Hawkeye's, if it just beat Jimmy, Hawkeye's wife in the Marvel.
Oh,
movie.
that's right. I forget that.
Hawkwife.
She's a hawk wife.
Ms. Hawk. John Leguizamo apparently.
So yeah, I guess you guys know nothing about the show either.
Never heard of it.
3 seasons on Netflix. Some sort of drama.
Some sort of drama.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Seasons.
right away I would
Okay.
have been like,
How many episodes?
vampires.
Did you say?
33?
30.
I don't know if you said it, but it says 30.
So like 10 episodes ish a season.
Mm-hmm.
Classic Netflix.
So Josh thinks vampires. I guess I was assuming like drugs or something. Like they're. I assume every show, started in and around the mid 2010s. Are just like, hey, Breaking Bad was good. Should we do more drug shows?
Yeah, that makes sense. Should we do some bath salts? I assume this show takes place in Florida, and there's a lot of cannibalism
They're
because of bath
Selling-
salts.
selling and doing bath salts.
That's my guess.
Yeah, so I'm assuming he's the black sheep of the family, not because he has some sort of genetic disease that makes him a vampire, so that's probably out. So, well,
Could
it's a
be.
black. I mean,
It's
what?
within the realm of possibility.
I guess it is potentially. It doesn't scream supernatural to me. At least the thumbnail here just kind of looks like they're on a dock hanging out. So I mean, what's the guy? He's gonna come back and you're gonna be like, you were the fuck up, and he's like, yeah, but I need help because I still am the fuck up, and probably owes a lot of money to, let's say, some sort of organized crime syndicate. And he probably tells some of his siblings. They're like, what? And then some mystery dude shows up and is like, you know where? What's the man? What's that guy's character name? Do we know any character names? I suppose we don't. Sounds like his name is Danny. Is the one that returns home from the very first line of this plot synopsis on Netflix. So I'm not gonna read any more. So I'm gonna pretend Danny is the quote unquote
Daniel.
black sheep. Comes back, owes money to somebody. Somebody comes looking for it. And that's what's it.
So what's the family secret? Just that he owes money?
Oh, so there's a family secret too? Shit.
Yeah, it said past secrets and scars.
Well, so his, let's see, family
Skarsgård.
secret is that their grandpa owned slaves.
Oh my god.
For some reason, I was thinking the exact same thing.
What?
But
Really?
But not pre-Civil War, even after the
Yeah,
war.
like,
still
oh, like
somehow
way
owns-
too
Yeah.
long.
Like a little too recent.
or early 1900s.
Yikes. Okay, this just got. So we're in the Ozarks. we're somewhere. We're in some commune where news hasn't reached.
Yeah.
Oh,
I never found out
Lord.
about the Emancipation Proclamation.
Oh, they found out. The family
We just
secret is
kept
they
them.
ignored it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'd watch it.
Want to see how that plays out?
Oh, this guy, the creator, has produced some crazy stuff. He produced the show Damages, which I've never heard of, but it has Glenn Close and Ted Danson and a lot of people.
I've known people that have watched that show, but
Yeah, I've also known of that show, but
He
I've never
also-
seen it.
Glenn Kessler's his name. He also produced Hunters, which is that show that started last year that was with Al Pacino.
Al Pacino's got a show.
Yeah, well, he did. Came out in 2020 on Amazon, so I don't know if it'll
I feel like I've seen
have
like
another one.
a trailer for that or something. Is that they're Nazis?
I think it's Nazis. There was like a ton of buzz about it, like right away, a ton of push for it. Obviously, Al Pacino, but with the pandemic, who knows what shows will continue?
Unknowable. I took a peek at the reception of it, which is kind of fun. There's not too many people that did reviews on this, at least of time of writing this article, but it looks like it had a pretty favorable kind of reception for season 1, 81% on Rotten Tomatoes.
All right.
But then went down to 53% in season 3.
Okay.
So
And then they called it.
and then it seems like they must have called it. Yeah.
We're done.
So it seems like it was good, and it you said something along these lines, I think, Joe, but it said something about it was the playlist named it Bloodline, the normative successor to Breaking Bad,
Oh,
because of its complex and tragic anti-hero narrative.
okay.
Ooh.
See, I didn't even know that, but I just
So this
I just
person who
assumed.
clued you in on this show knew that you love Breaking
Probably,
Bad. Is
I mean,
that
probably, yeah.
If you like Breaking Bad, you might like 81% of season 1 of Bloodlines.
And I did like I haven't seen like the latest season, but I did like Ozark from what I've seen.
Yeah, I liked that show. I don't think I made it through the second season because man, that show is dark.
Yeah, it is.
But so is Breaking Bad.
I eat up dark stuff. I watched all of that Ozark show.
Nice.
Also really like Jason Bateman.
Yeah, also that too.
The director of this
And
first
Morley.
episode directed some episodes of Breaking Bad.
Oh, what's the name?
I want to say Johan Renck. Renck.
Okay.
Vince
Don't know.
Gilligan.
Directed some
Yes, I was gonna say.
Chernobyl.
Little guy by the name of Ryan Johnson.
J.J. Abrams. Maybe some time travel. He's directed a lot of shows, a lot of like one episodes of stuff, but stuff that I like The Walking Dead and Bates Motel.
Cool.
Anyway,
He's a pro.
He's a
he's
pro.
at making dark.
I
stuff.
mean, we don't know much about what's going on. We have some thoughts about what potentially Bloodlines might be, but should we really just get into it and find out?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch this episode with the thought that they are vampires until I'm proven wrong.
All right.
Just see if that pans out.
I'm not
Love it.
sure if this is the naming convention on Netflix or not, and if it isn't, I will correct it when we get back. But according to Wikipedia, it says that episode 1 is just called Part 1. And then 2, 3, 4, Part 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll find out if that's true or not when we get back from that first episode. See you after that. And we're back. We're done with the first episode of Bloodline. I wanted to say Bloodlines. Typed that in wrong in IMDb and got a completely different show, by the way.
Oh, there's another show?
Not plural.
It's the sequel.
The sequel to Bloodline. Bloodlines. But we watched part 1. Jimmy, do you have a write-up?
Yeah. So this show, because it's Netflix, all aired March 20th, 2015. Did we say that? So are they all part? Is there like part 33?
Yeah,
I guess
that's-
we'll find that out
Yep.
later when we get to it. Oops, I scrolled away from it. Here we go. Danny Rayburn, the family's eldest son, buses home from Miami for his parents' celebration of their 45th anniversary of running Rayburn House, a beachside inn in the Florida Keys, and the scheduled dedication of a pier in their names. He disembarks at an earlier stop to avoid his brother John, a detective and deputy sheriff on the son of a... Okay. Danny disembarks the bus early to avoid his brother John, who is a detective and deputy sheriff in the Monroe County Sheriff's Department. Instead of going to the party, Danny visits a bar where he runs into an old friend, a parolee named Eric O'Bannon. So he's a piece of work. Eric offers Danny an opportunity to make money. After the party, Danny asks John to talk to Robert, who's the dad, about Danny's staying home for good and working in the family business. Robert initially does not want Danny to return home, but leaves the choice to the 3 siblings. Though John, Kevin, and Meg fear Danny may ultimately break Sally's heart, that's the mom, they decide Danny should stay. However, John then lies to Danny, telling him Robert did not want him to stay. Danny becomes upset and decides to cut his visit short. John asks him to stay until after the pier dedication, when Danny declines, John drives him back to the bus stop. Earlier, John is called by his partner, who's Meg's boyfriend, Marco, or fiance, it sounded like.
I swear Meg had sex with somebody in a car in the beginning of this episode, and it wasn't the dude. It wasn't that was Marco.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like. But so John's gonna go investigate an unidentified female corpse floating in a channel. Looked like some kind of Everglades. We never did really find out. They never circled back to that, did they?
No, they just found some dead girl amongst the mangroves.
It happens.
You know.
I bet more.
Where else are you gonna put?
You'd know, probably.
Where else are you gonna put them?
Yeah. Initial thoughts, boys? What'd you think? Love it?
I was more intrigued than I thought it would be.
Yeah, I mean, considering I didn't know anything about this show, I'm into it now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I like Kyle Chandler. Is that his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
2 first names, can't be trusted. But I like him. I found out that I confuse him frequently with Ron Livingston, the guy from Office Space.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also
Ron Livingston is not in Friday Night Lights.
Yeah, and then I also like Linda Cardellini.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's great.
And she's great. She plays Meg. And you know, it had some.
There's a lot of big names.
Had some intrigue in it with the. There was some seemingly at the end we found out maybe flash forwards of like John blowing Danny up in a boat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the description left out a lot of. There's narration by John, Kyle Chandler, the whole time, and who's like apologizing, sort of, or I don't really know exactly what he's doing, and you don't really know what he's talking about. There's just random cut scenes of like black and white. Him and Danny in like weird pinstripe suits.
Yeah,
they look like they went to the Kentucky Derby.
Like old timey vaudeville. Like there's probably some straw hats that they're missing.
Matching.
Maybe they were doing barbershop.
See?
You think they do barbershop?
Maybe they do.
I got a new prediction. Anyway, yeah, and he's carrying him through the woods in like the marsh, and then they're like swimming to a boat, and he puts his body on the boat.
Yeah, because Danny's clearly out of it, whether dead or what. He's not conscious, and John is just dragging him through the swamps or whatever. But yeah, then he puts him in a boat and then blows up the boat. He pours so much gasoline on Danny. And then throws
way more than you probably need.
Throws a flare onto the gasoline while he's still on the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like he should have like jumped, flipped it over there.
He's definitely got some residue of whatever, whatever evidence.
It's a flare. It's made to like light even when it's wet.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have jumped into the water, lit it, and then just tossed it into the boat.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Even if he missed and like needed a couple tosses, he could still go retrieve it.
I mean, he probably should. It's a big boat. That was a lot of gasoline. He probably should have been able to do it.
Oh man. But yeah, and he's like all the while is like we had to do this. Like, don't look down on us or whatever. This had to be done.
Implicates his siblings. He says that like what the three of us did to our brother or something like that.
So apparently we got 3 seasons of build up to something horrible.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know
I'm into it.
If it's 3 seasons of build up or this is like this season 1 arc.
That's what I would think. Yeah.
And then just maybe Danny's not in the next season or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I mean, we'll find out. I guess we'll see if he's in
I hadn't
the
thought
last
of that.
episode. But then like the episode proper, besides like that flash forward, which I mean, you guys thought like me that it was like a flash backwards.
Yeah.
From before until he blew Danny up in a
Mm-hmm.
boat.
Yeah, the way that they shoot it and like present it, you're not really sure what this is forward or backwards. Like there isn't anything obvious like, oh, he had a beard then and now it's gone or something. Like you can't really tell.
Right.
Yeah, I went back and forth because I thought it was a forwards, and then they're talking about, how much trouble Danny's always getting into. I was like, okay, maybe this is something that happened previously that was a problem. And then the dad during his like their celebration speech was like really mysteriously thanked people who were there for helping them out of some jam that was unspoken.
Yeah, he said that the family had gotten into some trouble a couple years ago and like he never got to thank the people that helped.
Yeah, it was like the mafia here at this party. Like, what's going on?
But yeah, he didn't really say what. And that's kind of one of the mysteries too, is like what happened?
Definitely a lot going on.
And like there has to be something going on with their business, right? Like,
right.
Because that's one of the other plot points is Danny's trying to get back into the business. The family like ostensibly owns this like resort like on a beach side, which probably takes in a good amount of money, but it's also like a good place to launder money if you needed to, and you had some other stuff going on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe we don't know. I guess maybe the whole family knows that they like do shady shit, and they just kind of, they're like, yeah, we're doing great. I mean, it seems like that resort was pretty packed that whole time. I thought they just had like a huge family, and they were just constantly partying with their family.
Mm-hmm.
And then like right at the end, I was like, oh, it's a resort, and these are just people at the resort for the most part.
Right.
They do have a big family. That is,
Yeah.
But.
So I should say, well, yeah.
Oh, well, depending
Before
on what you were going to
I move
say, I was going to go back to the beginning.
Oh, do it.
With Danny got on the boat and there was like a lady. On
the bus.
On the bus. And there was like a lady on the bus, like sitting kitty corner behind him across the aisle.
Yeah.
And then she showed up like later in the episode, and he like ran around with her and like went swimming with her at night. And he also like he thought he found her like necklace, but it turned out to be like a fishing lure.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll never know. I'm sure we'll never know, but I'm pretty convinced that lady doesn't exist or isn't there. Probably is a real person in his past or something like that.
Right. That's Mia Kirshner, by the way, who's in Black Dahlia, and she is what's his name? Steve Rogers. That's not his name.
Chris Evans?
Chris Evans' sister in Not Another Teen Movie.
Oh, good.
But yeah, the most we see of her is she just shows up one night when like Danny's getting blitzed, and then lures him out into the water to go swimming, and he like kind of drowns. Like he like reaches for his arm. We're wondering if he was like having a heart attack, but then he like the next morning he like they find him like washed up on the shore naked.
Just naked, yeah.
Yeah, he's like up in the dock. Like how did you do that? How did you not die?
Yeah.
Also, I was wondering, I didn't really get a good look, but I was wondering if somehow if that girl was the dead girl they found, but it seems like she might just be some person from his past. Or he did have this really uncomfortable conversation with John's wife about how he dated some girl for a while, and she was into like aggressive sexual stuff.
Aggressive play.
If
you will.
And I was like, is this some girl that he dated and like out of passion killed her, and she's like following him around.
The ghost of her.
The ghost.
Plausible.
Maybe not even the ghost, but
The ghost of
he's
sex
haunted.
past.
Yeah, exactly. Mia Kirshner.
Yeah, who knows? Was that exactly what you were going to talk about, Jimmy? Before I,
Yeah, that. And do you recognize that guy,
which one?
Danny?
No.
I've only ever seen him as bad guys. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
He's the main bad guy in Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that movie maybe once. Like, I mean, I've seen it once, but maybe 1.5 times.
And
so.
he's a bad guy in Captain Marvel. He's like the alien, the Skrull. So
I was like,
a lot of the time
he's
when you see
Jude
him,
Law?
a lot of the time when you see him, he's like in green face.
Sure.
So, but I'm pretty sure he's in that movie as himself for a while. Maybe I'm just imagining Rogue One now, but he's like an Australian guy
Who has a perfect American accent.
Well, yeah, like they all do.
Like they all do.
Yeah.
That's fair. Mate.
Oh, and Sissy Spacek is the mom,
Mm.
and she's like Carrie in
Mhm.
Carrie, and
Yeah.
then like a million things since then. But she's a national
She's got a
treasure.
fun name. Sissy SpaceX.
That's a great
fun name.
actor's name. Born for greatness.
I mean, yeah, and so like most of the rest of the episode is just kind of like they have a big family get together, then they're just like all hanging out, and then it's kind of like just the back and forth of the siblings then kind of talking about Danny and deciding whether or not they think he should stay.
Mhm.
That's kind of the
Mhm.
bulk of the other parts. We covered a lot of it. And I mean, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Interesting that John decided to lie though and like say that his dad said they didn't want him to come after like they decided, because it seemed like John himself was like the advocate to let Danny stay for a while.
Yeah, John
Right.
was like a soft yes. Meg was like a definite yes, and then Kevin, the youngest brother, was like a nah, man.
Yeah. Kevin to me seems like he's just like, I hang out with my parents and I just party.
Yeah.
And it was like, man, if Danny's the fuck up, like
Yeah, good point.
what did like you seem like pretty much like a trash kid too.
He's maybe just like a more charming fuck up.
Yeah,
And,
well,
like-
yeah, he's only drunk when dad's drunk too, or something
Mhm,
like that.
yeah.
You know?
Hmm.
And then, I mean, John's a sheriff currently.
Yeah.
I've got predictions about that.
This is
but-
so interesting. Okay, so now, like up until the last like minute, I wasn't thinking of like this family is just like a actual crime family who acts like everything's on the up and up and great.
Mhm.
And now I'm like totally seeing all these characters differently.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like, are the kids, the siblings, all involved in some shady stuff
Right.
full time?
Which being sheriff or whatever deputy is a great place to be if you're doing that.
Right? And do mom and dad know about it? Kind of
Kevin's
thing.
just the dumb muscle, but he does his job, does
He's
it
like-
well.
Terrible muscle. It's just like a short, not
A
very
little
jacked
aggressive. A little aggressive. Have you seen Joe Pesci in any of his films? He's terrifying.
Yeah, I've seen him in Home Improvement. Or Home
Improvement?
Home Alone.
That'd be a dope cameo.
Joe Pesci in Home Improvement.
Joe Pesci in Home Alone is just kind of like a parody of all of his other
Yeah, I know.
characters.
That's why I used
Just-
that one.
just have you seen him in Casino?
Oh yeah.
Oh, man, he does some stuff in that movie. I won't even say it.
Does things.
It's not safe.
Terrifying, terrifying mob-like Italian men.
He puts a dude's head in a vice and just okay. Anyway, what do we got? What are we doing? Predictions?
I mean, you got anything else to say about this episode?
Good times. 10. Scale 1 to 10. How Breaking Bad is this?
I kind of I had a thought that, you know how Breaking Bad has like those cold opens throughout like the whole season, like the eyeball floating in the like pool kind of thing, and then you later find out that it was like the airplane thing or whatever. I kind of feel like this whole episode felt like that 10-second like cold open in a Breaking Bad episode. So
100% set up.
Yeah, it just felt like complete setup, which isn't bad because it's the first episode, so we need to set a lot of stuff up. So I do think it did a good job of going, wait, what did they do? And especially when you flipped the flash, what we thought were like flash backwards to flash forwards potentially, and it did good. So, I mean, Breaking Bad level, 5% Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
No one broke bad by any means.
Yeah,
By the end of
good
episode
point.
1.
We don't even know that there's drugs involved.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the end of episode 1, within 10 seconds of episode 1 of Breaking Bad, you see Walt holding a gun, like pointing at it, and then it goes directly to him being like a boring teacher. So not like that, but I don't really necessarily think that
Yeah, at this point it's more of like a family drama than like any sort of like crime thing, which I could see it evolving, but
it can evolve. I would say going into any show trying to expect how much like Breaking Bad it is only going to be bad for that show.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking anti-hero, right? But I don't think I get that yet. But
I don't really think Walt is an anti-hero. He's just a bad guy. Like in reality.
Well, yeah, I guess that's true. But you root for him.
Yeah,
this
at
isn't
least in
like
the beginning
that.
you ride with him for sure.
Right. This definitely has more of like an Ozarks feel to me.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just the Everglades thing versus the Ozarks.
Versus the Ozarks.
But had a similar feel.
But it did feel like, because getting the feeling of whether or not the whole family's involved in it or whatever and stuff like that, and it does give a much more. And also, those are both Netflix shows, so maybe they kind of vibe together in that way as well. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Predictions?
Yes.
I'm gonna do mine first because I'm looking at them.
Fine.
Number 1. I don't know if he's going to be in this episode or not, but hopefully we find out that Danny murdered somebody.
Danny killed a guy.
Yeah.
Man, he might. That's what they're all talking about, how he's like the fuck up, but now I'm like, he might be the only one who hasn't killed someone in this family.
Yeah, possibly.
Convince me.
John's a sheriff. He's almost for surely killed people.
He's killing people all the time.
And speaking of John is no longer a cop, but he's on the lam.
Okay. I'd watch that.
Yeah. Kevin is a massive drug dealer.
What's massive?
Yeah, like he's huge.
He
I
gained a lot of weight for this episode.
I was going with he moves a lot of product.
All right.
Not like he's super fat and also deals drugs. Okay. But if he's super fat now and deals drugs, I'm taking a point.
All right.
And then my fourth one is Meg is in charge of the family business.
I like it.
At the moment, we believe that's being in charge of a resort.
Well,
Yeah,
okay.
could be a lot of things.
Okay. You left that open. Well done.
Thank you. Those are it.
I can go. I have John kills Kevin.
What? wait.
I'm into it.
So John, who is shown blowing up his older brother Danny, I think he kills his younger brother Kevin.
Oh, okay. Kevin.
John kills the whole
Kevin.
family.
Did you start that prediction? John kills Danny and then have to scratch it out? by the end?
No, I hadn't made it yet.
Okay.
I just think he has a thirst for blood. John kills
taste.
Kevin. Number 2, Meg kills John.
Yes. This is gonna be a bloodbath.
Yeah, I think there's some sibling on sibling
Action.
sibling side here. Number 3, they make reference to a pier that's being dedicated to the family, and I think that we do see the pier in this episode, in the last episode.
On fire.
It appears.
The pier appears.
Oh man.
And then the last one, I think there's a flashback to when they were kids.
Nice.
Where Meg killed
Yeah.
Susan, their
the
other
past.
sister.
The 5th Claiborne child.
It wasn't Susan
Rayburn.
the mom, or is that?
Wait,
isn't
what?
that her actual name? No.
Sissy Spacek?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Could be.
It's the name she goes by, so it is her real name.
Wait, are you actually saying that?
I don't know.
No, Jimmy's saying like, wasn't Susan the mom's name?
Oh, what her? No, I don't know what her name is.
I don't remember.
It's Sally.
Sally.
Oh.
I knew it was an S. Sally Sissy Spacek.
Sally Rayburn.
Yep. Oh, it's my turn. Is it my turn? So I did have, before the last 3 seconds of this episode, I had Danny dies. So
Oh, I was gonna
pretty sure.
write that John kills Danny. Like that was in
Damn.
my mind grapes almost the whole episode.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so I instead have, I think Danny is being murdered or whatever we're watching because he's stolen a lot of the mob's money. I think he has to have done something that now he's the scapegoat for, and they're killing him. It's being like, it's cool. He's already dead.
They kill him instead of like hiding him or something.
Yeah.
Gotta
Maybe
kill
he's
him.
already dead. Maybe it's fulfilling several purposes. I don't know.
When it comes to the mob, it's pretty. Usually, the easiest solution is to just kill them.
Yeah. It's done.
Oh, mob's after me. Just kill me.
It's done. It's done.
It's better if I'm
Danny
just dead.
stole a lot of the mob's money. Okay, then number 2, I think John is the head of the family business, but what I specifically wrote was that he's the head of some shit. I think he's so whatever illegal thing that they're doing, that's what he's the head of.
Sure.
So more specifically, I guess. Then number 3, I think Meg bangs more dudes.
Good for her.
I think finding out that she's just playing the field on the dudes. And then I think someone's eaten by alligators.
God, I hope
That's my
so.
number 4.
They were in the water so much, and we saw no alligators.
They talked about it, alligators
them.
several times, and
Never saw.
no one was eaten. Never saw a single one. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get more alligator munchies.
You'd think like what's that? Is it Snatch? The bad mafia guy feeds people to his pigs
Yep.
to get rid of the evidence.
Also, one
In
of the
the
Hannibal
Everglades.
films. That happens, too.
In the
Red Dragon?
James Bond movie Live and Let Die, that's what Mr. Big does.
We
He
should have
feeds people to alligators.
We need a more go-to animal, a different animal. Pigs have been done. We always feed them to pigs.
Oh, let's do
Different
alligators.
Do alligators.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Let's
Let's watch this last episode. I believe it's just called Part 33.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Cool.
I believe that's what it's called. So let's find out what the family business is. Or if we're completely wrong, we have no idea, and it's just a regular family and nothing's bad.
Part 33.
It's just Danny's a shitty head. We'll find out. After that, we'll be back. And we're back. We're done with the last episode of Bloodline, Part 33. Because it was episode 33.
Bud Lime, Part 33.
You gotta write up. Joe.
Blind Side. Yeah. Okay, so bear with me here. There's gonna be a lot of names and things going on. Okay, one of the Cubans threatens Kevin. So right off the bat, there are Cubans. If Kevin can't get him back to Cuba, the criminal will kill his family. As John tells Eric that he's finally ready to confess, Sally prepares to sell the inn. She tells John that Nolan wants to talk to him about Danny. Nolan is Danny's son, presumably. Kevin attempts suicide, but Belle convinces him to put the gun down, saying that John will fix everything. Diane tells John that she got a new home for herself and the kids. Wait, Diana.
Diana, his wife.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was his wife?
I sure sounded like
thought
it.
so, but
Yeah,
she
I think
looks
so.
super different, right?
Hmm.
No? She's super blonde now.
Hmm?
The lady he was
Right?
talking to was a brunette.
Okay, anyway.
This is his wife.
Diana's, okay. So apparently they're not together. Sally tells Janie and Ben that
Grandchildren.
John's kids, that she's selling the inn and splitting the money between her grandchildren, so them. John tells the DEA that Kevin will testify against Roy in exchange for immunity. Kevin refuses to turn himself in and tries to talk to Roy, only to find out that he has died. John arrives at the inn to find Sally drunk and depressed. She cannot sell the inn because of the rising sea levels, and it's worthless. Sally blames herself for her children's lives. John tells the agents that Kevin will turn himself in. After entering Kevin's house, they find no one there. John calls Kevin on speakerphone, but he says that he is halfway to Cuba where he cannot be extradited. The Coast Guard quickly catches up with the boat, but it's a trick.
It's a trick.
Kevin and Belle are actually headed to the Bahamas, and the Coast Guard captured the Cuban criminal instead. It is revealed that John helped Kevin and Belle escape with their son. However, Belle forgot to turn off her phone's GPS, and
so
Kevin
That's
is
so
arrested. Yikes.
Not the smartest.
Oof. John tries to confess everything to Aguirre?
Sergeant Batista from Dexter.
Yeah. Who refuses to listen. John sees a vision of an adult Danny who tells him to confess to Nolan, and a young Danny who tells him not to break Nolan's heart. John meets Nolan at the dock at the inn. The two stare at each other.
Longingly.
Credits roll.
Credits.
They kiss.
Uncle and nephew.
Took a turn.
This is
Netflix.
now on Cinemax after 11 p.m.
Yeesh. No, we don't know what happened. I choose to believe that John drowned him in the ocean, in the Gulf Ocean. Where are the Keys? Are they on the Pacific side or the Atlantic side?
Goshen.
Never been.
It's all water.
Never.
Yeah, it's all
been.
water.
In the water. John drowned him in the water.
One thing about this episode that was, I feel like not a lot different, but expanded on it or made this happen a lot more, was there were so many 2 to 3 person conversations that were like super long.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they all felt like they were just really long, involved conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like we've watched other shows that have done that for the finale. That have been like, it's almost like the goodbye, like dialogues. Give them some real good scenes to go out on.
Yeah.
Sink Sissy. Sissy?
You okay?
SpaceX. What's her name?
Sissy Spacek?
Sink Sissy's teeth into.
Oh man,
You know it.
She really worked her scene. Yeah, you're not wrong.
100%.
She was like
Some
crying,
stage acting.
and then she blamed John for a little bit. It was crazy.
It does seem like it's John's fault.
But most of those 2 to 3 person conversations, over half of them had John in them, with like one other person basically. I started to write them down, but it was like halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like John and Kevin, John and Danny, John and Sergeant Batista, John and his ex-wife, John and his mom and Kevin, mom, and then it was like mom and the grandkids.
John and everyone.
You know, there was other ones too. But
Okay, but John's wife / ex-wife, whatever, in the pilot or whatever, part 1, she had like brown hair and a ponytail, and in this she had like shoulder length. She clearly dyed her hair some color. I did not know it was the same human being.
no, I mean, I don't even know if I went and even tried to think about what she looked like in the first episode. I was just like, this is clearly his wife.
Yeah,
That's fair.
That's all I did.
That's fair. Fine.
Joe, you're quiet. Did you hate it?
No, I didn't hate it. I guess the thing that I took most from it is like it definitely felt like there's still some like mystery.
Well, like I said this when we were like watching, but didn't it just seem it's like, do we not know what like really happened still?
Yeah. And that's what it kind of seemed like, even from like, obviously we only watched last episode, so we missed some things, but the way that they were talking about things, it kind of seemed like they weren't really clear to the viewer either, of just like what really happened back then. What, like, how deep does I mean, obviously they're in with some drugs with the Cubans or something, but like, how deep does that go?
Yeah.
Who's all involved in it?
And then there was something that was
For
said
sure,
about
Kevin.
how like their parents stabbed a dude that was gonna sell them and that was how
That
this all began.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Kevin said. Yeah, so this some guy Roy, like old friend of the family. Apparently, Kevin thinks he stabbed someone, and his parents helped him out. John thinks that Roy and their mom had an affair with him,
Mm-hmm.
and that was really the connection. Which I feel like John is like the guy we're supposed to believe in these scenarios, but he's the brains.
Yeah.
Who's to say?
I don't know if I believe anything John says now.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, and some of that too is like there's a lot of stuff that's clearly just going on in like John's head
Mm-hmm.
that you're not sure like was that an actual flashback or is this something he's just picturing?
Hmm.
Yeah, and maybe it's on us. We don't know how crazy John might be,
Mhm.
if he is crazy, or if they're just using that as a way to exposit. You know?
Nice. Yeah, because so Danny is dead in this, but in the first episode, Danny's the one having the weird interactions with supposedly dead people.
Mm-hmm.
And then here we have like a Danny showing up as the ghost of Christmas whatever, and they're in some like memory that seemed like the memory probably had happened of like the
Oh, like the young brothers talking.
young brothers talking about Diana.
Mm-hmm.
And then but then they're also it's like they're watching it together, dead
Mhm.
brother and John on the beach. And then they look over and John's dead body is in the ocean.
Danny's dead body.
Danny's.
Right, and so now that once again, is the big question you have currently is did he drown him or blow him up? Question mark.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm picturing that him drowning Danny in that scene that we saw was just part of his just like mental manifestation that wasn't like an actual like flashback
Okay.
because they were wearing the same clothes that they were having like the conversation in.
Oh, so he was just like, yeah, okay.
This is just his weird mind space.
Gotta stop a cat from eating
okay.
something.
Okay. Interesting. I didn't pick up on that. Obviously, they weren't wearing pinstripe suits.
Yeah, it's very
because
distinctly
tell
pinstripe,
that.
like seersucker suits that they were wearing in like the first episode where John kills Danny on the boat.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing I noticed was they're not wearing the pinstripe suits.
Mhm.
The Kentucky Derby suits.
I don't know. I'm interested. Part of me at first was just like, this show is built a lot more around what's his name? Friday Night Lights. I've already forgotten his name.
Kyle Chandler.
Kyle Chandler than I anticipated, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
Just like-
main character. Yeah.
Right. And for a while it's just like, this just should be Jason Bateman. Jason Bateman is just this but better
I
in
mean,
Ozark.
Oh my god. I mean, in a way you're right because like I was thinking about halfway through this one I was like, man, if there isn't any more Ozarks, I guess this is a good show to watch because I
Yeah.
want to watch more Ozarks.
Yeah, right. But I will say like Chandler
Chandler.
Bing, he does the like brooding thing where I don't think Jason Bateman really does that.
Oh,
He's always kind of like the
woe is me.
scapegoat,
It's
you know.
it's a different vibe.
Yeah. It's a little more dark, a little more sad.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe equally sad, just different different sad.
Different brands of sad.
Yeah, different brands of sad. Catch our new band, our new emo band, different brands of sad.
Yeah. I'd watch that band play at least one show
Yeah.
and then cry for a week afterwards. Different brands of sad.
Check out our MySpace.
I still don't believe that this resort's going to be underwater in 10 years. That's not enough time.
Yeah, honestly, so literally this came up like in conversation like not that long ago. I don't remember exactly why, but people were saying about how the Keys and like Key West are like quickly not going to be a thing. And this show is a few years old, right?
2015 to 2017.
Yeah. Mhm.
Someone was literally just telling me about this because they had like been there. Because there's a big because there's a big Boy Scouts thing there. Have you heard of this?
Down in the Florida Keys?
Yeah.
Hmm.
There's it's got like a specific name, and like every Boy Scout in America knows what this is. It's like the premier thing to go raise a bunch of money and do.
Hmm.
And apparently it's like literally someone was saying like they should just embrace it and be like Venice.
Just
We're
have a
just
bunch of
gonna
canals
we're
and
just gonna
stuff.
have boats. Yeah.
I'm looking up news about the Florida Keys sinking. That's what I was doing.
Literally? You're looking at some article right now.
The water is coming. Florida Keys faces stark reality as seas rise. It's from The Guardian.
Guardian,
I know.
Reputable?
We don't have time to read the whole article, so I'm just going to believe
yeah.
it.
Just gonna read
Well,
some
I mean, there's a-
headlines.
Picture of it looks like some streets that shouldn't have water on them, just filled with water.
That's not what you want.
But
No.
there are boats,
Yeah.
so that seems planned.
Perfect. Perfect. They're ready. Hasn't even been 10 years. It's already underwater.
Yeah. I could see myself being interested in watching this.
Mm-hmm.
I could see myself giving, I think season 1 is 13 episodes and then it's 10 and 10. So I could definitely see myself going, all right, why don't we give it like episode 2, episode 3, see if you can hook me.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can't, then I guess I wasted 2 more hours of my life. But
Yeah. And again, it seems like, it gets wrapped up into comparisons with Breaking Bad and or Ozark. Ozark. But at least from what we've seen in this first and last episode, it's like very much family drama based and less about like whatever crime syndicate they're a part of.
Right.
There wasn't really much of the yeah, there were cops and DEA and federal agents or whatever, but that was more just to like tie stuff together. It's just that's how the drug story inevitably has to end, but
Of course.
that wasn't the main like dramatic driver.
Yeah. That's true.
It was really just like John trying to keep the last remnants of the family together, but
I mean,
not able
yeah,
to.
This is Family Matters cross I Know What You Did Last Summer, right?
This is sad Full
Is
House.
Kevin the
not Full
Urkel?
Oh.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. Yeah.
Or maybe Danny. Did I do that?
Yeah. Yeah. It totally is Danny, isn't it? Oh man.
John is
Or-
Carl.
Or Kevin. Kevin's probably Urkel. But yeah, because I guess I assume that we would see like ownership of some sort of family, like mob style family from like the parents. But Sally, her whole thing is she's just trying to get rid of this inn, and she can't. And then she kind of goes freaking nuts.
It definitely doesn't seem like Sally is worried about cops or any form of law, anything.
Yeah.
She
She just wants to like make more, like have money to give to her grandkids because she doesn't. Yeah,
that's
it.
what every grandma wants.
Right. But I mean, before that, I was like, holy crap. Oh, there's only 3 grandkids and you're going to sell this like Florida Keys resort. These grandkids don't ever have to have a job. And probably their kids don't either if they just put it in the bank. And apparently it's worthless though. So that's what you get for blood resorts. Also, the dad's got to be dead, right?
Yeah,
Dad seems
right?
dead.
Yeah.
Wasn't in this at all.
Dad seems dead. I feel like people talked like Meg was dead, but then Kevin later referenced Meg.
Yeah, and, like,
she's
present
still
tense,
alive.
yeah.
I swear the mom said something about like losing 2 kids or
Yeah.
something like that. But then, and we're like, but there's only 4. But then they said about, she
Meg had
an
a
affair, maybe?
twin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Is that what it was?
Well, Sally said in her diatribe,
Mm-hmm.
Meg and Sarah,
Okay.
and then kind of stopped talking about Sarah and talked about Meg. So it made me feel like maybe there was like a twin who died at birth or
Yeah,
something.
because she was talking about like a birth story of them.
Right.
Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense because like when they said that originally, I was like, oh, we only know about 4, and that means we see 2,
Right.
Linda Cardellini wasn't in it anymore. She was too busy starring in Marvel movies.
Hell yeah.
Cha-ching, cha-ching. So, but apparently it must have been this other girl. So, and then Kevin later said, you should come and visit us with, you should bring Mom and Meg. Come to Cuba, where we're hiding out from the government.
John's like, nah.
And he's like, nah, you'll be here soon. Your wife's an idiot and doesn't... Why... If you're fleeing from law, number one,
throw that in the ocean.
Break your cell phone. Take 10 minutes and write down numbers that you think you need in like a notebook or something. Put that in your getaway bag, and then break your cell phone in half, and then throw it in a sewer drain or something.
Yeah.
Then buy a burner when you get to Cuba, you dummy.
Yeah.
That's an insane. How embarrassing would that be? Would that be the reason you got extradited? Like from, is that what it is? Extradited from Cuba?
Well, so they were in the Bahamas.
Is that where they were? Okay.
According to the Wikipedia.
Yeah, because if they would have made it to Cuba, they would have been home free.
Okay, but the Bahamas is they play nice with the United States.
Yeah, sure.
I assume so.
I would assume so. At least for these purposes.
What are they, commies?
Not like Cuba.
Oh, jeez.
You said it.
Yeah, I bet this first season is really good.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Watching the first season.
I could see that because it really seemed to set up some craziness and like enough like character stuff to be like, I bet they've got this first season written and it's probably wild and then probably gets a little bit out of control, like dramas do.
I always feel like we killed someone, what are we going to do is just like, it's always like a good piece of
It's the start
drama.
of every good adventure.
Yeah.
I'm excited for my real life to get a little boring to enact that with a couple of my friends one day.
Oh, God.
Hey, guys, when we're like 52 and I'm like, want to go camping? Oh, I got my friend Ted. You haven't met him.
Body.
He's coming.
There's a body in my trunk. Let's go.
I killed Ted. What do we do?
It actually is in Breaking Bad in the first episode that like they
killed me. Yeah,
they killed 2 of the guys and they got to get rid of the bodies.
Oh, yeah, sounds familiar.
/ they have like one of them wakes up, right?
Yeah, one of them doesn't die.
And they got to figure that out. So that's always like, so if season 1 is, oh my God, we killed Danny, what are we gonna do? Like, I'm into like just like trying to figure that out.
Heck yeah. Let's do it.
Let's kill Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to get into predictions and how we did?
Yeah.
I bet we all did really well.
Yeah. So great.
My first one was Danny murdered someone. Inconclusive.
Yeah, don't know.
Definitely got murdered. John is no longer a cop, but on the lam. But he's definitely still a cop.
I think so.
I mean, he was talking to other cops, and they were addressing him as he was a cop as well. It's not like the presidency or something like they call you like officer even when you're retired. They probably do.
He tried to confess for crimes.
Yeah,
and then he wouldn't have been a cop, but they didn't let him.
I don't know, man. Once you go, I think if you're a cop and then you go to prison, I think they still think you're a cop.
You can do all kinds of crimes as a cop.
My one potential point getter here is Kevin is a massive drug dealer. The only thing that I know is he said something about trafficking. And that, I mean, I don't think he was sex trafficking. That seems a little too hard.
And the DEA is on his tail.
He was upset about somebody being in the DEA, which would be drugs.
I'm taking that point.
Okay.
Drugs EA.
Drugs EA.
It's in the game.
Sports.
And then my fourth one was Meg is in charge of the family business, but she just wasn't in the show anymore.
Yeah, she's retired.
Yeah.
She gone.
So
She
one.
gone.
Cool. I can go. I've got John kills Kevin, which he did not, but maybe should have.
It could have happened.
Probably
yeah.
should have.
Probably should have.
Probably
Yeah,
should've.
probably should have. Meg kills John. She did not. She wasn't there. I have the pier as reference. There was a pier, but I don't think that was the pier.
I think it was just a deck.
It's
That was
hard to
just like
tell.
the dock.
That was just like a pier
Just
on
a dock.
Yeah, that was like a dock that was on their resort. Like
We'll
like
never know.
the one that was dedicated was like part of like
A thing, yeah.
yeah.
I think
Probably
that
an
was
actual
like the dock.
pier.
I think that was like the dock that Danny like got
Washed
woke
up
up
on.
naked.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it might have been.
I think you're right.
So no, and then kid flashback, which there was a flashback to
Yeah.
young John and young Danny having a cigarette together. So there's 1 point for that.
Heyo, kids.
Yeah.
1 point for kids.
Man. All right. So I said Danny had stolen a lot of like mafia's money, and that's why he had to be killed. So don't have any idea what that was all about. Still,
Seems
Mhm.
like Danny just had to be killed.
yeah. Sometimes you just, sometimes. Okay, that's where that
I like
goes.
I don't know how well that got picked up, but Joe just watched a cat push his notebook over and just like, yeah, I'll let this happen.
Yeah, just wanted to see if she can do it.
I thought John was gonna be like head criminal of whatever was going on. I don't even know what to say that John was doing.
I feel like
honestly.
he's just head secret keeper. I think,
Yeah.
like I don't even
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I thought Meg was gonna bang some more dudes.
She might have been.
She probably was off doing that somewhere, and no one was eaten by alligators.
No, not a gator in sight.
No sex and no alligators. What is the show even?
Cat just jumped on the desk, tried to hit pause on the recording,
Yeah.
so had to grab her.
She's
So-
like, this episode's done.
And I'm done. So
Zero for me.
All right, that's probably fine. It's probably fine for this this season's rankings. I don't know where we're at, but we'll find out. But that'll also, I believe, do it for a Bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Watch it on your Netflix today.
we know you have it. You probably forgot you had it. Been paying for it this whole time.
Yeah, or you got your neighbors or your cousins sign on. We know you. We know you.
Do
Still.
you think people out there, there's a whole, pandemic that's, ongoing? You think someone's just finished Netflix?
Just watched
think
everything
I
on
feel
it.
like that's a bit.
I
Is
don't
that
know
like
if
an
that's
SNL
possible.
bit? Like, finished Netflix.
There's got to be. I think I would believe that there is more hours on Netflix to watch than to be alive at this point.
That's plausible, yeah.
Yeah.
Or at least, years upon years of just like that. Yeah, that they change over content faster than you can watch it all.
Right.
Yeah, you get the rollover.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I suppose, especially if you take into account like all the kids, like, there's a whole like mountain of series of animated Barbie does things. It's like,
no,
it's
I
come to
don't
my
know this
attention.
actually. What? On
It's just-
Netflix?
Yeah. Anyway,
Hmm.
yeah. I mean, obviously, if this show is any sort of barometer, you can't possibly watch all the things
Mm-hmm.
because you couldn't even. I mean, I guess you could. Technically, you could watch, 3 seasons of an hour-long show in 1 week.
Maybe you could watch all the movies. I could see that being possible. TVs would get real long though. TVs.
The TVs is what the kids would call them.
Doing math. Hold on.
What's your formula?
Something said that I read it was 36,000 hours in total.
On Netflix?
On Netflix. And there's 8,760 hours in a year, which would mean that
take
there's
a few
only
years.
4 years of Netflix right now.
So, okay. But like waking hours. Yeah, we could do it. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, so I got to times I got to times this by 8 to like, just presumably you sleep 8 hours a night. And then all you do is watch Netflix when you're alive or awake.
Yeah.
You're alive when you're sleeping.
Or even that just means that if you had Netflix just running constantly, it would take you 4 years to watch all the content that they have today.
Yeah.
And you know that in 4 years, they're going to add a bunch more stuff. So it's like, you're just never going to catch up.
Yeah. Never, ever.
Oh, man. Reminds me of that movie, PCU. Have you guys seen that movie? Jeremy Piven?
Yeah.
One of the guys in this like frat, his like dissertation is he's just watching, the whole time you see him, he's just watching TV. And anyway.
That was that. He wasn't trying to like watch all of TV or
He's
something.
He's trying to prove something by watching TV, that there's like a movie with like certain actors in it, like 2 actors in it.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 specific people. You could watch a movie with one of them in it at all times, at any time. So he just watches TV for hours, proving that this is a thing that happens.
Tune in next week when we watch PCU for First and Last.
I remember loving that movie.
I do remember that movie being good, but that was probably over
Jeremy Piven.
15 years ago that I've seen it.
Let's just go back and watch Entourage again.
I'd probably rather watch PCU. All right, everybody. We're going to finish this episode of First and Last. Thank you for listening. If you stayed this long, you learned something about hours in a year and how much Netflix you can possibly watch. So you're welcome for a math corner on First and Last. If you want to get a hold of us and have a show suggestion or just comment on whatever, you can at F&L Podcast on the Gmail or on the Twitter. But until then, have a Ozark-ish type week. I don't know. That's what I my review.
Sounds bleak.
Yeah, I mean,
Jeez,
have
do
an
not
Ozark
have.
oh, better than like the wife going, "You're so sad." Don't be sad. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week for another episode of First and Last. Goodbye.